It's Friday, usual time for happy hour. This week I'm not going to pike. I'm actually, if you'd asked me a few hours ago, I probably would have said 50-50 chance of making it. My breathing wasn't great. Still got a chest infection, but it's getting better. I'm making disgusting sounds when I'm clearing my throat, which is actually a good thing for me because it means it improves my breathing. So the worst 2 days were the first 2 days, which was last week and Thursday and Friday, when I just found total difficulty in breathing, and there was just congested, but there was no way I could unblock it at all. So that was a little frightening actually. But it cleared up by the weekend, and I was able to then cough up a bit, and which cleared up the windpipe. Yeah, just walked past a dog walker. Big surprise around here, isn't it? No, he's a friendly guy. He said hello, and which is nice. They don't generally say hello if I'm filming though. They'll sort of back off. So I'll turn off my camera if I see someone ahead who's walking a dog. I don't want to intimidate people. But this is the first video I've actually done for a week because I just haven't been going out. Well, I haven't been walking anyway. I did go out Wednesday. That was my first day, and we went to the sports club, the Trinity Sports Club, and had my pizza. It'd been 2 weeks, so that was good. Enjoyed that, and there was quite a group of people there actually on Wednesday, so it was a good gathering. But yeah, just want to get out and about, and I'm going to walk all the way to the beach house. So that'll be good. I could do with a bit of exercise, but I didn't feel up to it a few hours ago. I felt just too congested, but that's the nature of this particular infection I've got. It just comes and goes a bit, but I think I'm on the mend. I had to actually send an email to a friend who's going to be lobbing up here in a few days, and there's my neighbours coming along, perfectly timed as usual. Yeah, I'll walk with them to the beach house. But yeah, I sent an email to a friend to inform another friend who's incommunicado. Don't ask me why. He's a Luddite. And to tell him that I've got a cold, and just if he's worried about staying at my place, it's going to be there 10 days. Back to Kawara on my lonesome because Steve, Yvonne, who are going to have a meal locally here in Trinity Beach. I've already dished out a bit of dough at the pub, so that's enough for me, and I'll head off back home. It's not that long a walk. I spilled a bit of beer and I tripped after that, and now they think I'm actually totally stuffed because of my cold, but it's not the case. That was just bad luck. A noisy day in suburbia. God knows what that tradie's doing over there, but it's noisy, whatever it is. You can probably see better than me. I think it's actually one of the it's a high pressure water thingy bob, which I've got. I just bought one. So yeah, I got a unit there at Bunnings a couple of days ago, and it cost me, it was about 118 bucks, and it's got a 3-year warranty, so pretty amazing actually. So I'm looking forward to having a go at it because they do really work well, but as you can tell, they're bloody noisy. So I'll be creating my own noise. I've got a fair bit of crap on the tiles in the back of the house because I've got half the house has got a veranda, and I've been putting plant pots on the actual on the surface, and of course I've got marks everywhere, and hopefully that'll help remove some of them. Although my master plan is to paint the tiles because they look really dated, and what I want to do is probably paint them with a background of either black or white, and then put a decal on, which will be the opposite colour, be a white on black, for instance, a decorative decal. and I think they'll it'll look sort of more oldie worldy. It'll look quite nice, I think. The ones at the moment, they're missing a few tiles here and there, but apparently you can paint tiles, and it's definitely the most cost-effective way of renovating something like that, because the tiles themselves are fine. I just don't like the look of them. I just like the colour. So that's probably the smartest move. I'm very frustrated about pavers. I just can't find any decent pavers. I thought that would be something available. Oh God, they're always noisy. Saturday is dog day by the looks of things, so we should pass by the noisiest part fairly soon. It's about 4 AM in Moscow apparently, and there's a lot happening. It looks as though Vladimir Putin's major antagonist, who used to be his mate, Prigozhin, sorry, I probably mangled the pronunciation of that, he's making a move on the leadership. Apparently it's supposed to be just against the current Russian military, but it's got to have implications towards Putin himself, and of course Putin's nowhere to be seen, so he's major. If you know the Catch-22 reference, that's he does a good impersonation of Major, who was played very well by Bob Newhart, one of my favourite comedians. So anyway, that's yeah, so basically it's all happening there at the moment. Well, one of the bloggers from, well, he's Russian, but now he's actually in Uzbekistan. He's actually had to move because it was getting pretty dicey doing blogs from Russia itself. It's such a totalitarian state that he had to move to one of the old Soviet states, Uzbekistan, and he's doing a live stream right now. There's a couple of them actually. There's another one as well that I watch, who's also doing a live stream, a young guy, but he's watching all the feeds, all the news feeds. He's getting Telegram feeds as well, so he's getting a lot of information, and apparently what he's heard is that there's APC, armoured personnel carriers, roaming through Moscow at the moment. 4 AM, APCs in Moscow. No sign of the supposed leader, who I think is really wounded right now, Putin. It doesn't look good for him. Looks good for Russia, looks good for the world. It doesn't look good for him. Not that Prigozhin would be a wonderful substitute, and that's always been the issue with the politics in Russia. There's no one reasonable. I think Russia will have to be treated like Nazi Germany, and we'll have to have total defeat for the place to be cleaned out. It'll just be a running sore otherwise. The other option, of course, is that, and I think it's highly likely, that Russia will break up into a number of separate states. I mean, it's hard to believe Siberia is still part of the European Russia. I mean, it's such a vast amount of land, and you'd think they'd have different priorities because, you know, they're so geographically isolated. It's amazing that they've actually stuck together. You know, it's a massive amount of land, Russia. It's just incredible, and there'll be a bun fight over who's going to take control of the oil fields for a start. That'd be a juicy thing for an independence movement to take control of, because without that, European Russia's stuffed. But it's nice that I'm actually feeling good enough to do a bit of walking, because that was the first time in a week so I did a walk, and like I say, it was a good test, an hour. Going up here and back's about slightly shy of 20 minutes each way, so a little shorter. It's a beautiful day here. I mean, that's another weird thing. This always pisses me off on when The Economist has the most livable city lists, and they've shoved Melbourne back on number 3 on the world rankings. I just think that's absurd. Melbourne's got a lot of problems. It's not the worst city in the world, that's for sure, but it's, you know, it's got some pluses, but for me, Cairns beats it hands down, especially in the Northern Beaches. the lifestyle here is brilliant, and I don't feel like I'm missing out on much. There are a few irritating things. You don't have the same choice, like I say, with pavers. If I was in a big city, you know, I could just pick and choose the style I want. But again, I wouldn't have a big property like this if I was in the big city. I certainly wouldn't be near a beach. I'd be looking at a couple of mil probably to be this close to a beach in Melbourne. So, and the taxes are going up and the public transport's crowded, and it's just a rat race. You know, it's nice up here. People are definitely more relaxed overall, and I've got good neighbours, which is a real bonus. And yeah, it's worked out well for me. The big move was going from Parramatta Park to here. I just never thought I'd find suburbia so alluring, but it's nice to be able to plot around the garden and do all that crap and do some basic renovations on the house. Not that I'll do much, I'll get Dale to do most of it, but it's nice to see it happening. I'm going to have a go at the kitchen. Like I say, I think the plan will be just get the design done, and then get them to deliver the flat packs. Then I'm committed to it. So that would be probably a lazy $5,000 just to get to that stage without any labour involved. So it's a fair bit of dough. Hopefully I'll get a bit of a tax returns this year. Get a bit back, get a bit of a refund. Hard to say. I've had too many dividends. The way it's worked out that I bought some shares and they paid huge dividends, which I wasn't aware of until after I'd actually purchased the bloody things. And so I'm trying to have zero capital gains, because I took a huge loss on the Fast Brick Robotics stock I had. Lost 7,000 just on that one stock. So I'm not making any money capital gains wise this year, because now I'm taxed on all my income. I didn't even realise that until last year. So yeah, that was a bit of a blow. This year I'm prepared for it, but I'm still going to have quite a few divs, and it's nice to have dividends, but you know, if they're fully franked, it's not a big deal because you've got the tax taken out anyway. But yeah, yeah, it's a nice dilemma to have, but although I've got to say, shares at the moment with inflation going up, they're not as good as they were, because I'm not seeing share dividends and share prices going up at the same rate. If anything, they're probably dropping. Or treading water at best. So you're going backwards in real terms. So it was good when interest rates were virtually zero, but it's not so good now. It's a total readjustment. And the share prices will have to go up eventually, because with inflation you would think. But who knows? The share market's a weird place. Trying to work out the psychology of that. But anyway, fingers crossed that there's some real movement in Russia, because not only, I mean, the Ukrainians are taking the brunt of it. The barbarism shown by the Russian troops is unbelievable. And if they blew up the biggest nuclear power station in Europe, that'd be the end of Russia as far as the world community is concerned. Even China and India would condemn them over that, and they would just become a pariah state, total pariah state. I mean, they're halfway there now, but if that occurred, that's the end of them, in my opinion. And it may mean that just NATO will say, stuff it, we're going in. So very dangerous times. But there's lots of scenarios are going. Like I said, if there was independent states created, it wouldn't just be oil and gas and food resources to be split up between different countries. It'd also be nukes. Just like what happened with Ukraine. They inherited a lot of tactical nuclear weapons, and they handed them back with a security guarantee given by Russia that they wouldn't invade them. We know what that was worth. So, yeah, things have changed. Like I said, Russia has zero credibility diplomatically these days. Well, got everything I needed. Got all the medication, and I've got a couple of small onions. They're about $3.99 a kilo, which I'm not sure. I think it's okay. It's a bit more probably than you pay at the supermarket, $1 extra a kilo, but for the convenience, it's definitely worth it. And as I say, compared to Night Owl, their prices there are pretty good at the local place here. Definitely cheaper than the likes of Night Owl. So it's good. Phew, only cost me $1 anyway for 2 onions. They're reasonably cheap. As is the red wine, $6. But I can't tell the difference, to be quite frank. But then again, I haven't had really top shelf stuff. I think Steve's had Grange, and he said it was very nice. And maybe it's a good thing I haven't had Grange. Although I had the Bollinger, you know, it was a relatively cheap Bollinger because it's less than $100 a bottle, and that's cheap by Bollinger standard. And I wasn't overly, it was okay, but whether it's worth the extra money, I don't know. I've had some decent French champagne around the 50 mark, or even less, just slightly less. 40 to 50, you can get something reasonably quaffable, and I might go that direction again. So, but I don't drink champers very often. It is just for special occasion stuff. But yeah, look at that day today. That is just superb. It's probably low 20s at the moment, just after 10 o'clock, 10:30 maybe. It's a superb day. We've had so much moisture. Of course, everything looks green. That's the good thing, because it can look pretty ratty during a normal summer. Sorry, during a normal winter up here when it's quite dry. So the nature strips start looking pretty ratty, but not at the moment. We've had so much rain. I'm hoping my banana plant survives. I've staked it. I did that about a week or 2 weeks ago, and only half the roots were still attached to the soil. And so what I'm doing is I'm just watering plants next to it, just letting it dry out a bit, because Dale says I've just rotted the roots. I've just overwatered it, and it still looks okay. Hasn't withered or anything. So just give it time, and it might recover, which would be nice, because it'd be a bit of a blow if it went. But on the positive side, I've got the candlestick flowers have resurrected. I thought I'd lost them, but they're looking really healthy. So they were just dormant. They're nice. So that's good news. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you think there's anything there of use to you, or entertainment or whatever. And either do that or give me a thumbs up, or if you're feeling really energetic, do both. That'd be great.